The Australian housing market is a Ponzi scheme and it's about to collapse. There's a growing cohort that are echoing this sentiment across social media, and who can blame them? These people feel as if they've been priced out and, quite frankly, shunned by the system. It's convenient to believe the market will tank and the Ponzi scheme will collapse, and property will once again become affordable for the masses. It's clear that property needs to be more affordable for both homeowners and renters. However, what are the chances of this happening anytime soon? In this video, we're going to go over some data as to why the property market isn't going to collapse anytime soon. My name is wbell, and over the last 13 years I've run my mortgage brokerage business down here in Melbourne, and I've witnessed what this property market has turned into. It's not good, it's not the same place it used to be. I do these videos to show a different perspective than what maybe the mass media outlets may provide. The reason I'm in this business is to help people make it financially, and that's something that's getting harder as the days and months go by. I hope this video gives you another perspective and helps you to make better decisions. If you want to pay off your home loan faster, there's a link below showing you how to do that. If you want to buy your first home, there's also a link in the description for you to access resources on how to do that. Before we take a look at the data suggesting the Ponzi scheme won't collapse, let's first paint a picture of how bad things are with some graphs. First off, we have the total value of dwelling stock in the 5 years from June 2019 to 2024. Obviously, the housing crisis has been decades in the making, but this graph is particularly staggering because it shows how fast the problem is accelerating. Next up is a graph of how many years worth of household income property was to buy. You can see from 1999 a house price was 9 times the household income, and now it's above 16. Again, the acceleration in recent years is a sight for sore eyes. Next is home ownership by age. This graph is a little hard to look at, but I'll give you the TLDR. People are taking longer to become homeowners. This is a reflection of higher house prices, and if nothing is done, the next crisis to trigger will be the retirement crisis, as the amount of people in debt close to retirement is also increasing. Next up is rental vacancy rates. We just don't have enough rentals for the amount of people here. This is driving up rents and putting some people into really stressful situations as homelessness becomes a reality for the first time for many. Australia leads the way in mortgage debt. We've plotted a chart which is arguably the most worrying out of them all. What's more worrying is it hasn't decreased against all the cost of living inflation we've had in the last 5 years, which suggests a lot of people are being financially crushed between their monthly spend and home loan repayments. Unfortunately, there are no cheat codes to financial success, and the fact is, debt levels are high because house prices are high. The truth is, most people can't borrow their way to prosperity. They have to pay the debt back. And there are some really basic strategies people can implement to get a long way ahead. There's a link below for my Debt Destroyer program, which shows you how to capitalize on this. Population growth has meant that it's been a struggle building more homes for people, as well as other things like schools or hospitals or roads and all the other stuff a first world country needs. And when you look back at the last 10 years of dwellings approved, it's clear to see that it's not keeping up with population growth. There is a lot of data I could pull out to demonstrate the level of the problem here. I'm going to try and give a different perspective. Our housing market has become a place where people just get left behind. It's increasingly being looked at as an asset for investment purposes rather than a need and a right for every individual to have a roof over their head. There's a fear that we've bred a generation with a growing amount of hopelessness. I guess the question I end up asking myself is, would I work hard if there was a little prospect of me owning a property? And then even if I did own a property, I'd be paying that debt for my whole working life and then maybe even retiring with that debt. And let's be real here, the amount of people retiring with debt has been steadily increasing over the last decade or so. The truth is, the only reason people do something is because there's incentive. This system is providing people with less and less incentive to follow the rules because they perceive they're getting nothing out of it. All of the negative outcomes we're seeing will continue. This video is about making the argument that the Ponzi scheme won't end. At the same time, I think all the negative trends we're experiencing won't end either, at least in the foreseeable future. Several factors contribute to the resilience of the Australian property market. Number one, government intervention. Governments have had a long history of intervening in the property market. They're not stopping anytime soon because all of the people with influence own property. On top of that, they want to get voted in the next election, and they have to be seen as doing something for the property market. Currently, we have the Albanese government and their Housing for Australia plan, the plan where they want to build 1.2 million homes. This will increase the demand for land. Not only will it increase the demand for land, but it will increase the demand for jobs and building supplies, therefore pushing up the price of these services, and they'll get pushed into the price of real estate. Population growth. Australia's population, particularly in major cities, continues to grow due to immigration. This sustained demand for housing supports property prices. Neither government wants to change anything here because the truth is they need to immigrate people of working age to create more demand and to help pay for the costs of our ageing system. Something monumental needs to change for this 200-year trend to be reversed. Supply constraints. We live in a world that is burdened by red tape, and therefore things need to take time to happen. Our three levels of government, local, state and federal, can't get on the same page. Limited land availability, zoning restrictions, lengthy planning processes restrict housing supply. Inversely, this means more demand, which helps prevent the property market from heading into oversupply. Investor demand. Let's face it, Aussies love property as an investing vehicle. We aren't just going to change overnight. Tax policies like negative gearing and capital gains tax discounts make property investment attractive, which helps create demand for investors. Banking stability and lending practices. The one good thing to come out of a lot of red tape is that Australia's banking sector is well regulated, with strict lending standards that reduce the likelihood of a credit-driven crash. These factors collectively contribute to the stability and the resilience of the Australian property market, making a significant Ponzi-style crash less likely. As much as I don't like it because of the potentially disastrous social effects this will cause, I think it's more likely the property market will continue to do what the property market has done in recent decades. I am hopeful that things become more even in terms of the average person getting access to housing. I don't think it's going to happen in the form of a crash and then the gap between the rich and the poor quickly just come together. This is more like a slow-moving pendulum that swings one way for decades at a time. At the moment, it's still swinging in favour of the wealthy. I'm hopeful there'll be a catalyst for change and for the pendulum to start swinging back the other way. If you like my work, please subscribe, and if you need help with the home, please get in touch. Thanks for watching.